Hello, everyone. I hope you're having a wonderful day. Today, we're going to dive into a heartfelt story about Huyen, Di, and little Maya as they return home, facing struggles with money, rebuilding their house, and holding on to hope for a better tomorrow. From washing mosquito nets by the river to laying bamboo posts under the blazing sun, every step shows their resilience, love, and determination to create a place they can truly call home. If you enjoy this story, don't forget to subscribe so you won't miss the next episodes. Maya's little voice piped up with excitement. "Mom, do you like going home?" Huyen smiled at her daughter's enthusiasm and answered softly, "Yes, I do." It had been days since they last washed the mosquito net, and the stale smell was beginning to cling stubbornly to the fabric. With a sigh, Huyen said, "Let's take this down to the river so I can give it a good wash." Folding the net carefully, she turned to Maya. "Are you ready, Maya?" The little girl tried to help, her small hands clumsy but eager. "Almost ready," she chirped. Huyen smiled again and encouraged her gently. "Then let's get going so we can arrive early." "Okay," Maya replied, her voice as bright as the morning. "Come on, Maya," Huyen added warmly. "Get yourself ready too." Life had been hard lately. Di had not been able to find steady work, and the little money he had saved was quickly dwindling. Over at Huyen's house, the bamboo walls, once strong and new, were now hollowed and eaten through by termites. The sight of them weighed heavily on Di's mind. "If we repair everything right now, it's going to take a lot of money and time," he muttered one evening, his voice low and tired. Huyen nodded thoughtfully. "Let's go see the place first. Then we'll decide. If it's really bad, maybe we should buy bamboo and build a new house instead." Di rubbed the back of his neck. Worry etched across his face. "This time, we should use soaked bamboo. The last time we used fresh bamboo, it didn't last long at all." Huyen's brow furrowed. "But soaked bamboo is much more expensive," she said quietly, already calculating the cost in her head. "I don't know if we have enough." Di reached into his pocket and pulled out a small, worn bundle of bills. "This is all the money we've got now. I just hope it's enough to build another house." Huyen stared at the stack of bills, the weight of their fragile future pressing down on her chest. There was also the ring. Back when they were in the South, Day had given it to her. Lately, she noticed how worried he became whenever the topic of rebuilding came up. He carried the stress silently, but Huyen could see it written all over his tired eyes and thin frame. She touched his arm softly. "I've packed everything," she said, her voice quiet but steady. Day gave a short nod. "All right then, let's go." But before they left, Day motioned for her to sit down. "I need to tell you something," he said seriously. Huyen waited, her heart tightening. "Since I went to the South, I haven't had much steady work. And now that we're preparing to build the house, we'll probably come up short." He placed the bundle of bills into her hand. "This is everything I have left. Add it to what you've saved, and use it for the materials." Huyen closed her hand over his, moved by his sincerity. "You've already done so much. Keep some of it. I've saved a little too." Di shook his head firmly. "It's not enough, but I'll try my best." I'll take on extra work if I have to. I'll make sure we have enough to finish that house. Huyen thought for a moment. Then let's treat this as capital, she suggested softly, so we can still keep the business going and also cover our daily expenses. He nodded. I'll take care of getting the materials. I know using soaked bamboo costs more, but it's worth it. Seeing how tense he looked tugged at Huyen's heart. We don't have to build a big house, she whispered. Just something small. Or maybe we could repair the old one instead. But Day shook his head with quiet determination. No, those fresh bamboo poles are all ruined. The roof too. Fixing it would cost almost as much as starting over. I think we should just rebuild completely with treated bamboo. He sighed and added softly, I'm sorry. Sorry for bringing you back here when I don't even have a proper house for you to stay in. Huyen touched his hand gently. Day, coming back here was my decision. I trust you. That's why I came. Meeting you and Maya is already a blessing to me. I don't need wealth, just peace with the two of you. His eyes softened. Thank you for understanding me. Maya, we're going home today. The child's eyes sparkled with delight. Really? We're going home? Yes, sweetheart. Let's go. They gathered their few belongings and set off together. As they reached the house, Maya exclaimed, We're almost home. We're here, Huyen said softly as the old gate came into view. The flowers she had planted recently had grown quickly in her absence, their small blossoms swaying gently in the breeze. Look, Maya, she said, pointing. The flowers are blooming. Their little dog, Bibi, darted around the yard excitedly. Bibi's home now, too, Huyen laughed. Dee scanned the yard thoughtfully. Take a look at this spot. If we clear it, it'll be spacious enough for the new house. He squinted, measuring by eye. From here to the path, maybe 4.5 meters. Huyen smiled admiringly. You're good at this. Skillful as always. I think we'll need about 20 bamboo poles, he muttered. That might not be enough, Huyen warned gently. Then I'll buy more if we need to. For now, I'll get the first 20. Day set off to find a truck and buy the bamboo, while Huyen stayed behind with Maya to tidy the yard. At the bamboo sellers, Dee asked, Madam, how long has this batch been soaked? 7 months, she replied proudly. And how much per pole? $5 each. Day hesitated. That's expensive. Could you give me a discount? She shook her head firmly. I'm already selling at a fair price. If you want cheaper, take the fresh ones. No, Dee said immediately. Fresh bamboo doesn't last. I'll take 20 soaked poles. She advised him kindly. Pick the straight older ones. It'll be easier to build. Meanwhile, back at the house, Maya spread out her little mat. Mom, I'll study here. It's cooler, she announced. Pointing at Bibi, she added with a giggle, Today I'll teach Bibi his letters. Huyen laughed. Just don't shout at him, Maya. The little girl wrinkled her nose. But Mom, he won't study. Look at his face. It's like he's teasing me. Later, Dee returned, arranging the bamboo poles neatly into stacks. That's all 20. Here's your payment, he told the seller, who nodded. Thank you. Come back again if you need more. When the truck finally delivered the bamboo, Maya's eyes widened with amazement. Mom, are you building another house? Yes, Maya, Huyen said with a smile. This time we'll build it stronger. Maybe even add a loft for you. Her face lit up instantly. A 2-story house, Day chuckled as he helped unload. Step back, Maya. These poles are heavy and still wet inside. Maya pouted adorably. But I want to help Uncle D. Not this time, sweetheart. Just stay safe. D wiped the sweat from his brow. This time, we'll do it right. High foundation, solid posts, strong roof. It'll last. Huyen handed him a cup of water. Take a break. You've done enough for today. He drank deeply, then glanced at Maya with a smile. All right, little one. Once this is done, I'll even make you a ladder bed. Her eyes sparkled like sunlight on water. Promise, she asked. Promise, he said firmly, and for a moment, even amidst their struggles, hope filled the air around them. Dee wiped his hands and said, Let's check the measurements again. We need to decide where to dig the holes for the posts. All right, Huyen nodded, brushing sweat from her forehead. I'll grab the shovels. Maya bounced around them, her little voice full of excitement. Mom, I want to dig too. Huyen smiled gently. Then go get me the roll of rope first, okay? Okay, Maya chirped, and off she ran, her small feet pattering against the dry ground. They started marking the earth together, sweat dripping down their backs under the harsh sun. The soil was firm but dry, making each strike of the shovel heavy. Huyen glanced at Dee, watching the careful way he measured, his brows furrowed in concentration. Soon, Maya came back, carrying the rope with both hands. Uncle Day, have some water, she said sweetly, offering him a cup. He laughed warmly. Maya takes such good care of me, but what about your mom? I'll get her some too, the girl grinned, dashing back inside. They dug steadily. Dust clung to their arms and clothes, but neither complained. How deep should the holes be? Huyen asked, pushing her shovel into the earth. About 30 to 40 centimeters, Day replied. That way, the posts will stand firm. Maya sat nearby, watching them with wide eyes. Her voice softened suddenly. Mom, I miss you. Huyen froze, her chest tightening at those innocent words. She put down the shovel and pulled her daughter close. I'm right here, Maya, she whispered, holding her tightly. Dee dug harder, his muscles straining. We need 12 posts in total. Once the holes are ready, we can raise the frame. The sound of Maya's laughter soon echoed across the yard. She seemed happy just being near them. That's enough for this one, Dee said, examining a hole. It looks sturdy. Huyen touched his shoulder gently. I'm sorry, Dee, for making you go through all this trouble again, building another house from scratch. He shook his head firmly. Don't be sorry. This was my choice too. The old house was ruined anyway. If we work harder now, this one will last longer. Just then, Huyen pressed a hand against her stomach. Why does my belly feel so uncomfortable? Day looked at her with a teasing smile. You must be hungry again. Go cook something while I finish here. She nodded. Maya, come help me in the kitchen. Inside, Maya tugged at her mother's arm. Mom, can you make fried eggs today? Of course, sweetheart. Huyen smiled. She sent Maya to fetch water for her bath, while she cracked eggs into the small blackened pan. From outside, the sound of Dee's shovel hitting the earth was steady and relentless. He'd been working nonstop all day, sweat mixing with dust. As she fried the eggs, Huyen thought to herself, tomorrow we should buy some meat. He deserves it after all this labor. By evening, Maya was clean and dressed, her hair smelling of soap. Day came inside, washing his hands and feet before sitting down. Let's eat out here, where it's cooler, he suggested. They spread the dishes out on a mat beneath the open sky. Maya, full of energy, directed everyone with her little voice. Uncle Dee, pick some eggs for me. Why don't you do it yourself? He teased. All right, I'll do it, she giggled, placing one egg on Huyen's plate. Mom, you eat this one. Uncle Dee, you eat this one too. Their laughter filled the yard. Mom cooks so well, Maya said proudly. Dee nodded, chewing thoughtfully. It's hot work, but I'm used to it. He drank a cup of water and added, by tomorrow morning, we should be able to raise the posts. The holes are ready, and I've cut the bamboo to size. Huyen sighed. This soaked bamboo cost us more than I expected, but at least it won't be eaten by termites. If we built with bricks and cement right now, we wouldn't be able to afford it anyway. And since this land isn't really ours, we shouldn't risk borrowing money for a big house. That's true, Dee agreed. If the landowner changes their mind, we'd have nowhere to go. Maya tugged at his sleeve. Uncle Dee, tomorrow can I help too? He smiled warmly. Of course, but only the easy jobs. As they ate, Dee mentioned, tomorrow, a friend of my cousin will come help us. His family's struggling too, but he offered to lend a hand. Then I'll buy some food from the market, Huyen said quickly. We should treat him for his kindness. Dee's eyes softened. You're always so thoughtful. Helping each other in times like these is precious. They finished their simple meal. The air cooled as evening settled in, and fireflies began to glow faintly in the grass. I want to finish quickly, Huyen murmured, her gaze drifting to the half-cleared yard. The old house is too dusty. I'm afraid Maya's cough will come back. Don't worry, Day reassured her. Once this house is done, she'll be comfortable. Maya raised her hand, her eyes twinkling. And I want 2 floors, Dee chuckled. I was thinking of adding a loft in our room, just in case of flooding. That's a good idea, Huyen agreed softly. At least we'd have somewhere to shelter. After dinner, they cleaned up together.
Khi hoàng hôn buông
This story
xuống, Đệ
follows
và
Huyen,
Adam
Dee,
đội qua khu
and
rừng
young
sương mờ
Maya as they returned to
dưới
their
những
old
cơn
home,
phùn mưa nhẹ,
worn
đuổi
down
theo
by
một
time
bóng
and
dáng bí
hardship.
ẩn trông giống Huyền.
Determined to rebuild,
Dù họ tuyệt
Dee
vọng, đuổi
struggles
theo
with the
qua
cost
cơn
of
mưa
materials,
bùng đầy,
but insists
cô ấy
on
biến
using
mất vào
soaked
trong bóng
bamboo
tối,
for
để lại
durability,
trong Đệ một nỗi
even though
đau
it
nhón
strains their
xen lẫn
savings.
hy vọng và
Huyen
nghi
supports
ngờ.
him with quiet strength,
Sau đó họ tìm
offering
thấy
comfort
cô, một
and
cô
even
gái trẻ
suggesting
ốm
selling her
yếu
ring,
và bất tỉnh
though Dee
bên rìa
refuses,
rừng.
seeing it as a
Nhưng
symbol
cô
of
ấy
his
không phải
promise to
Huyền.
her.
Mọi
Together,
người đưa
they
cô ấy
clear the
đến nơi
yard,
an toàn,
buy bamboo,
trong khi
and begin
tâm
building a
trí Đệ
small
vẫn
house.
ám ảnh bởi hình
Maya,
ảnh
full
thoáng
of
qua và
innocence,
người phụ
brings
nữ
light
mà
and
anh nghĩ
laughter,
là Huyền.
dreaming of flowers,
Sáng hôm sau,
pets, and
Tử
even a
Vi tỉnh dậy
two-story
trong
home.
một căn phòng xa lạ và cảm
Despite
thấy bất
exhaustion,
an,
Dee
nhưng bị
works
cuốn hút
tirelessly,
bởi sự
while
điềm tĩnh
Huyen
của
keeps
Đệ.
hope alive through
Trong khi
love and
Adam xuất hiện,
encouragement.
Một
The
buồng không khí
rising
căng thẳng
bamboo
nặng nề
frame
bao
becomes
trùm,
more
gợi
than
lên
just a
những
house.
mối liên hệ
It
tiềm ẩn
symbolizes
và
their unity,
quá khứ chung.
resilience,
Cùng
and
nhau, họ đứng
unwavering
trước ngưỡng
belief
của một câu
in a
chuyện
better
đầy
future
những câu hỏi
together.
chưa